In 1964, on Good Friday, on March 27th, the second largest earthquake in the history of seismology was recorded. The earthquake occurred in the Prince William Sound region of Alaska and recorded a magnitude of 9.2, which resulted in the death of 132 people. Only the 9.5 magnitude earthquake in Chile in 1960 surpasses it in sheer strength. Alaska, being part of the Ring of Fire, is a part of the world that receives a great deal of seismic and volcanic activity. This can be attributed to the location of Alaska along the boundary of the North American tectonic plate and the Pacific plate. The state of Alaska is by far the most seismically active state in the entire U.S., surpassing even that of California. 3 of the 7 largest earthquakes ever recorded in the 20th century have occurred in Alaska. The 1957 Aleutian, the 1964 Prince William Sound, and the 1965 Rat Islands, respectively. 5 great underthrusting events have occurred in Alaska since 1938, thus resulting in several major earthquakes. Also, recent research has shown that there are several segments along the subduction zone that are nearing their breaking point and are on the verge of rupturing. The northwestward motion of the Pacific Plate, about 5 to 7 centimeters per year, causes the crust of the southern Alaska to be compressed and warped, with some areas along the coast being depressed and other areas being inland and being uplifted. After periods of tens to hundreds of years, this compression is relieved by the sudden southeastward motion of portions of coastal Alaska as they move back over the subducting Pacific Plate, and by localized subreal and subprime landslides. The earthquake shaking caused at least 5 local slide-generated tsunamis within minutes after the shaking began. Tsunamis generated by the 1964 earthquake were recorded all throughout the Pacific Ocean, where there was significant damage, covered about 130 square kilometers. The area in which it was felt was about 1,330 square kilometers. All of Alaska, parts of Canada, and south to Washington felt this. The 4-minute duration of shaking triggered many landslides and avalanches. Major structural damage occurred. That $300 to $400 million in 1964 is the equivalent of $2.3 billion in property losses today. Anchorage, about 120 kilometers northwest of the epicenter, sustained the most severe damage to property. About 30 blocks of dwellings and commercial buildings were damaged or destroyed in the downtown area. The J.C. Company building was damaged beyond repair. The Four Seasons apartment building and new 6-story structure collapsed, and many other multi-story buildings were damaged heavily. The schools in Anchorage were almost devastated. The Government Hill Grade School, sitting astride a huge landslide, was almost a total loss. Anchorage High School and Denali Grade School were damaged severely. The duration of shock was estimated at 3 minutes. The number of deaths from the earthquake totaled 131. That breaks down to 115 deaths in Alaska and 16 in Oregon and California. The death toll was extremely small for an earthquake of this magnitude due to low population density, the time of the day, and the fact that it was a holiday, and the type of material used to construct many buildings, which was wood. 5 great unthrusting events have occurred in Alaska since 1938, causing 8+ magnitude earthquakes.